afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our forum discussion for today. First of all, I would like to thank to all of the members. Thank you very much for attending. Our topic for today is about business in Ramadan Bazaar, which is in terms of cleanliness, safety, quality versus profit. I'm Zakwan as a moderator for our forum discussion today with our invitation panels. The first panel is Ms. Akida. The second panel is Ms. Teresa. The third panel is Mr. Azim. And our last panel is Ms. Zuraina. This topic is very important to discuss so that we are always careful as buyer or seller of food. Let's start with our first panel. Ms. Akida, can you explain the issue of this topic in terms of cleanliness business in Ramadan Bazaar?
Thank you, moderator. Hello, my name is Miss Akila. Let me explain about this issue. As a trader who sells food, I need to prioritize food hygiene. This is because cleanliness in selling food is an important aspect that should be given priority by all parties. As a buyers, of course, we prioritize food hygiene. If the if the food sold is not clean, we will not buy the food for fear of food poisoning. For your information, in Wilayah Persekutuan Putrajaya has reporting finding a maggots in mie tongge that sold at the Putrajaya Ramadan Bazaar. They noticed that the maggots when one to iftar, and Perbadanan Putrajaya was reported to have taken appropriate action.
I am sorry for interrupting. I very much agree with you, Miss Akila. If I, as a buyer, of course, I will prioritize the food hygiene before buying it. Cleanliness must have come first when we buy a portion of food for our health and safety.
Thank you to our panel for the explanation about the issue. This is very dangerous for the life of the buyer. I am disappointed to the seller that not prioritize the cleanliness of the food before selling it.
Yes, it is very dangerous if we are not careful in buying food. For all you know, this thing keeps recurring. This is not the first case of poisoning due to eating foam pudding in Terengganu. In June 2020, a 25-year-old woman passed away at the Sultan Nur Zahira Hospital, Kuala Terengganu, after eating foam pudding purchased online at Ramadan Bazaar. Several family members were also treated at the same hospital. Overall, for me, when hearing these things such as these reports, I hope all food sellers, whether in Ramadan Bazaar or everywhere, should always maintain cleanliness when selling food and prioritize the safety of buyers. This is because cleanliness is very important in selling the food, and this will help the seller to increase the customer. That's all from me about the cleanliness.
Thank you, Ms. Akila, for your explanation. So guys, as Ms. Akila explained a moment ago, we can take a lesson and make what happened a lesson for us when becoming a food seller or a buyer. The next term is about safety when we are selling the food in Ramadan Bazaar. Let us move to our second panel. Ms. Teresa, can you give your opinion about the safety?
Thank you, moderator. As we all know, Bazaar Ramadan is a favorite destination for everyone when it comes to Ramadan. Unfortunately, sellers do not prioritize safety in food manufacturing. In my opinion, safety is also important to food manufacturing. If food safety is a priority, it can maintain the hygiene of the food to prevent the growth of bacteria in food. This is because food safety is important to prevent the increase in cases of food poisoning due to foodborne diseases that have been contaminated, which is dangerous to human health. Food poisoning can lead to health problems and diseases such as paralysis or chronic joint pain. It can also result in death if not treated early. In my opinion, safety can also emphasize just like the aspect of hygiene. If the food sold is clean, it is safe to eat. This can attract customers to buy food by seller in the Ramadan Bazaar.
I also agree with you, Mr. Reza, because nowadays the issue of raw meat food always happens every years at Ramadan Bazaar. This issue is disappointing for me as a buyer.
Thank you, Mr. Azim, for your extra information. For your all information, the Food Safety and Quality Division of Ministry of Health MOH was instructed to step up in its enforcement at Ramadan Bazaar, especially at the location that received complaint about food contamination, according to Astro Awani 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Reza, for your clear explanation. I would like to also add a little about sellers who do not comply with food and beverage safety rules in their business. As seller, they need to prioritize safety in doing business. People who visit the Ramadan Bazaar should always be aware of the condition of the food sold. This is very important to prevent buyers from buying food that is resold or stale. In my opinion, we need to wise. In my opinion, we need to be wise in choosing traders who sell food in the Ramadan Bazaar. They should also practice the concept of see and choose before buying food. Now, what about quantity? Can someone of you describe of quantity of food sold in Ramadan Bazaar?
I'm sorry, moderator, to interrupt. Let me explain about the quantity.
Yes, sure.
Alright, based on my experience, when buying food at the Ramadan Bazaar, almost all fruit price rising. Some sellers charge a very expensive price, but the quantity of food sold is not worth the price charge. This may also be due to rising raw material price in the market. Some sellers in the Ramadan Bazaar take the opportunity to raise price to hide and do not match the quantity and quality of food sold. On other hand, some sellers charge high selling price, but buyer keep buying because the quantity and quality of material used are very good. For example, Chef Ama was caught on social media during the month of Ramadan this year, selling Arabic rice at a high price, but most buyers are willing to queue long to buy the Arabic rice he sells. Although the price of Arabic rice is expensive, buyers are very fond of the sale because it is worth into the test buyers. Therefore, as a sellers, we have to balance the quantity with the price so that the buyer is satisfied with the food purchase.
I agree with your explanation just now, Mr. Azim.
Thank you, Mr. Azim, for your explanation about the quantity of food sold in Ramadan Bazaar. Let me invite our last panel, Ms. Raina. Can you explain about the food vendors in Ramadan Bazaar who only think of profit but other things are not taken into consideration?
Thanks, moderator. Let me expand the benefits. For me, when we as a seller, we will only think of lucrative profit, but we should also think of other aspects besides thinking of profit. This is because most buyers are very upset when sellers sell stale and undercooked food. This often happens when they receive too many orders to ignore the quality of food sold because they just want to make a profit. This is a very inappropriate for food seller as it can harm buyers. Also, for me, sellers cannot reap double profits in selling food, so that all customer can buy the food. Seller must be honest in selling food so that there is no waste and loss.
That's right, Ms. Raina. I also always see most of the food vendors in this Ramadan Bazaar don't care very much about the hygiene of the food sold. I also don't deny that the price of goods is now going up, but that doesn't mean traders can raise the price of food and beverage at will without thinking of other important aspects for the sake of profit.
So, to all of us, if we want to do business one day, make sure we don't just think about sales, profit, but should think about other things in selling. I also hope that the government agency enforce monitor the price of goods in every Ramadan bazaar to ensure that traders do not increase price at will.
Thank you for all the panels. So I want to end this issue after hearing all the panels explain this issue. All panels agreed on this issue. So my advice to you all when selling food, we must be honest in selling food and we need to think about the customer who want to buy food. Sell food at a reasonable price with the best quality so that loyal customer can buy our food. After what we discussed earlier, there are many benefits and lessons to all of us. Thanks to all panels who were willing to attend and the audience who participate in this forum. That's all from us. Thank you.